she was a phenom. She I've been thinking about her a lot lately. Is it okay if we talk about it's not related to precognition, but
No,
it's
no, not at all. I mean, grandmother, we can switch to the grandmother conversation. That's
grandmother
fantastic.
talk. Yeah. And that sort of amazing thing that she did, if I'm understanding the story correctly. I think she wrote it down too, but I don't have a copy of it. I'll get it from my sister who has everything. But she was part of the Daughters of the American Revolution, which are these women who are proud that they're related to whatever officers in the
Right.
revolution or whatever. And she thought when the UN was starting to form, she thought that the US shouldn't join the UN because,
Uh-huh.
no, she thought that they should join the UN. But the
Oh, okay.
Daughters of the American Revolution were like, oh, there's all these other countries and like
Yeah.
it's dirty and
It's not
bad. And
American. It's not American.
it's just not American. And she thought it was so ignorant and ridiculous that she was I think she was the Illinois sort of representative to the federal DAR. So she went, they were
Mm.
called before Congress or whatever. She goes to the DAR thing at Congress, and each person is giving their brief statement, something like this. I'm sure I'm confusing something.
Right.
And she has her statement that she's supposed to give,
Mm-hmm.
and then she has her own speech, and she just replaces
Oh,
it with her speech, and she
good
goes
for
like,
her.
yeah,
Good
and
for
she
her.
goes like, "This is ridiculous. I'm leaving the DAR," or they
Good
kick her
for
out or
her.
something like that, because the only way you'll ever have peace in the world is if people talk to each other from different countries.
Of
So,
course.
yeah, I
Yes.
mean, it's just so obvious, but I was so proud to hear that story, and and she just did different things. Like she married a man 8 years older than her, and she waited until she was in her 30s to marry
Mm.
him, and she, you know, probably was a lesbian. I mean, she often said to my mother after my mother moved in with Karen,
Mm-hmm.
like, I would have done it differently if things were different when I was younger. I
Ah,
would have done what
right.
you did,
Exactly.
is what she
Yes.
said.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so she's just very powerful. And she taught me to squat out in the yard when
Uh-huh.
we would pick asparagus and rhubarb.
Right.
She was like, you can't stand like that with your back over. You have to
Yes.
squat
That's you have to squat, right.
because it's only going to last for like 5 minutes and you're not going to be able to do any work. And I just thought, wow, that's a powerful thing, which I used the rest of my life.
Right. Right.
So yeah, grandmothers, they have the power of the postmenopausal woman combined with the relationship, the genetic relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And even if you're adopted with the familial relationship, I mean, there's two kinds of power there that feel different. Like there's like a biological power and like a spiritual power or something.
Right.
Yeah, grandmothers.
Yeah. Grandmother, I mean, I was raised by my grandmother, so
Yeah,
my mother worked pretty much
yeah, me too.
the whole time and good for her. And so she was lucky to have my grandmother, her mother, with her, and Abuela was just a fantastic parent,
Yeah,
personality. She was very kind, and I think that we mostly just amused her.
yeah.
Right. When we did dumb things, it was just like she was just amused by it. I don't actually have a memory of her raising her voice. I'm sure she did. I don't think she was a saint. I have memories of my dad and my mom raising their voices, but I don't remember my grandmother ever raising her voice. And she was the primary
Hmm.
caregiver for many, many years.